Well, now that the base is done, I can go ahead and get the top assembled, and so we can get this thing up and operating. I just wanted to give you a couple tips as I'm installing this, some things to watch out for or help out with. First of all, it's a lot easier to try and assemble this thing upside down. Reason being is all the cuts that were made, the dados and whatnot, were made very precisely, so I want to make sure that everything on here is perfectly flush. If it's out at all, then all the cross bracing and the corner bracing is not going to come together. In the beginning, I also wanted to just be able to glue this up and clamp it up, but I realized that that's going to require some big clamps and quite a few of them. So in lieu of that, I decided to go ahead and screw the cross braces together, and that way it'll help anyone who doesn't have large clamps or a large quantity of those, and get it clamped up pretty well. So what I did is I just marked the center joint here of where the plies meet and drew a line down, and then came in and used a Forstner bit to countersink the holes, and use big screws to pull it all together. What I'm using is 3-inch zinc plated screws, the same stuff I use to install cabinets into the walls, square drive, doesn't slip out, and it really pulls this stuff together in the meantime. Also, once I got it together, this part in the build, I always like to square everything up. So it's no different with this, and I found that I was out by 1/16 on one side. So I grabbed a big pipe clamp, and I'm grabbing both the corners, and it does not take a lot, you don't have to put a lot of pressure on it, and I was able to just pull it right in, which is about a half turn or so of the clamp once it got tightened down. Now you see I have this clamp resting on top of these two blocks right there. The reason being is I needed a way to get my tape measure underneath to grab both corners and pull it back across, and of course you can't lay it over the pipe clamp or you're not going to get an accurate reading, so that just lifted the clamp up enough for me to sneak it under there. Right now it's pulled perfectly square, and I'm going to go ahead and get everything else done while it's held in place. That's it for now. Alright, I got 4 of the corner braces in, and I'm going to let them dry a little bit because I realized that if I'm going to be knocking in the rest of them, I could throw it out of alignment again. So I did all 4 corners, kept the pipe clamp on, everything's still in alignment, and give it a good half hour to set up. I just wanted to show you real quick what the corner braces, basically I went and I sanded all the edges that are going to come in contact with the dados, and I went ahead and notched the back as well. That way, if there's any glue or anything that gets in the corners when it's going in, it's not going to keep it from sitting flush against it. Also, you could have left it straight on this edge here, but I did cut it like this for a reason, and that is so I can take a hammer and knock it in on each edge and in the middle and make sure it sits in there nice and tight. So there's a reason behind that. Also, wanted to show you, I got this routed out, of course, before I started assembling it, so I can put the aluminum extrusion in there so I can use my hold down clamps and whatnot. This is a 3/4 inch wide, 1/2 inch deep standard clamp, and I'm not going to put it in there the entire width of that dado that I cut into that, because I have plans to use fixtures and stuff which need to go down in there and then slide into it. So if I ran it all the way across, I would never be able to get the stuff in there. Also, I just want to let you know that if you have any of the Craig hold down clamps, these metal things right here, they also make the big plates. These are things that lock into the keyhole and clamp down. That also fits in the track too, so it creates a really nice clamping system. I'll be able to put this in here and lock it down real quick. Alright, well, it's almost time to get the rest of this done, so that's about it. I'm just going to show you real quick how nice this all goes together, and the plans have been perfect. I've just copied exactly what I detailed out in the 3D model, and when I cut all these dados and everything just lines up perfect. So actually it pays to take the time to do it like that. There you go, nice tight fit. Alright, the top's all finished drying with what I've done so far, and I just wanted to make sure everything lined up, and it does. A few major pointers. This has a overhang on the side of a 1/16 of an inch on both sides. That's because of the rack and pinion drive. I could have made it flush, but you definitely don't want the bottom to hang out over because the drive will run into that. Cross bracing in the middle lines up with the added support for the cross braces on the top part. So I'm going to make the connections to get that screwed into to hold it in place. The front sits recessed off this. If I'm going to do anything at a up and down angle, I didn't want it to go against any other board to throw off the measurements, so that's all in play. The back sits nice and flush as spec'd, and overall I'm really happy with how this has come together so far. There's a few more things that I need to add to the top to stabilize it, which are in the plans, and I'm probably going to go ahead and enclose the bottom with some sliding doors, which is made out of 1/8" material. That way I can go ahead and throw a shot back down there and a cyclone system or something to scavenge all the dust from this machine as it cuts and kind of make it self-contained and a little bit quieter. And other than that, next time you see it, it will probably be painted. I think I'm going to go with a dye on the bottom, on the base part, with a sanding sealer, then come back and throw a clear on it. And this top part, I've decided to go with an off-white, mostly because I have that paint laying around, and also because it will match the paint scheme that I had originally intended. So that's it for now. Next time you see it, it'll probably look a lot different. Alright, thanks.